start there. Explain why you don't think what's going on in Libya, or for that matter, the rest of North Africa, is any of our business.
Well, because I don't think they're up front with this. It is said that we're going there for humanitarian reasons, but have you ever noticed around the world there are a lot of humanitarian problems? One gross abuse of rights was in Rwanda. We didn't care too much about that. There's abuse of demonstrators all through the Middle East right now, but it's being done by governments that we endorse. They're our friendly dictators. So I think they're being very disingenuous when they say this is a mission for humanitarianism. It's probably more related to oil than anything else.
Well, let's parse this a little bit, Congressman. I think you are absolutely correct. There are contradictions inherent in any foreign policy, and certainly President Clinton, who was in office as president when the events of the genocide in Rwanda occurred, has said his deepest regret is that as president he did not send our troops in there to stop that genocide. So let me ask you this. Would you have supported intervention in Rwanda to stop what was clearly genocide that led to the loss, unimaginable loss of life? Would you have supported that?
No, I don't think it's part of our Constitution that we should go about the world trying to solve every problem. And I think that it's very difficult to help the people who really need it. Even in Libya today, the chances of really helping the people, it's unknown. But too often when you take money or even food and give it to these factions when they're fighting at war, they become weapons of war. The one faction will get it and use it against the other one, and very rarely does it help the people. So I don't think it's constitutional. I don't think it accomplishes what it's supposed to, and that the founders were, I think, rather shrewd in giving us advice. Stay out of the entangling alliances, stay out of the internal affairs of other nations. But there's every reason to help people, and we are a generous nation. When people really suffer, whether it's an earthquake or any type of tragedy, the American people are quite willing to help. But when politicians get involved, it becomes political, and it doesn't achieve it. There's always unintended consequences, and things happen that weren't intended, and I just think we have gotten into wars so often since World War II carelessly, and here we are, we're engaged in 2 wars now, we can't get out of either one, and we're just falling into another one, and the authorities coming from the United Nations, and Congress is irrelevant.
Congressman,
they don't seem to...
We'll get to the legal authority in just a moment, but I want to understand the parameters. Some people say, and some applaud and some criticize you for this, that you're an isolationist, that you really don't want any involvement in foreign affairs, no military alliances. And give me an example where you would have supported our intervention because of genocide, because of some humanitarian crisis, where we would send our military to get rid of a foreign government that was perpetrating acts so heinous that it simply violated our sense of humanity and decency. Is there any one example?
Well, not militarily, no, always only voluntarily. But the use of the word isolationist is a misuse of the word, a misunderstanding of that definition. I'm a non-interventionist, but I'm a free trader. I want people to go and come and trade with people, okay, and engage with people. An isolationist is usually a protectionist. You know, they have high tariffs.
Congressman,
see, I'm for working and trading with Cuba, and that's not isolationism.
All right, fair point and a fair distinction. I want to pivot now for a moment. You have made a strong argument that the president lacks the constitutional power to do what we're doing. Explain why, and explain why. You know, it's been since 1942 that since we've had a declaration of war from the United States Congress. Right. And so it's been decades and decades. Doesn't mean you're wrong, of course. But so why doesn't the president have power as commander-in-chief to send the military when he says this is threatening our national security, which is exactly what he said in the letter to Congress today?
Well, I guess it's because I listened to his speeches when he was a senator, because he was talking the right way. Now he has the power. The power is to come away from the House and from the Senate and from the Congress. But the argument is that he's getting authority from the UN, and treaties allow that's an international law. It becomes the law of the land. But there are limitations. You cannot amend the Constitution by treaty. What if the UN decided that we shouldn't have a First Amendment? Would you say, oh, this is okay because the authority comes from the United Nations? It would be preposterous. So you